Luke's promo about why the Steiner Math promo is the best promo of all time just might be the second best promo of all time. Luke just became the GOAT with this list. Fearless. Being 1000% honest with myself and everyone else in the comment section, I agree with Luke. I can never remember how the pipe bomb promo goes, but I can almost word for word remember Steiner Math. Luke's number 1 is objectively correct. I think Luke is a silly sausage, but sometimes silly sausages are 100% correct.
Yes. Rise up, my Steiner mathletes. A shock AEW defection to WWE. There's been another WWE departure. Updates on Drew McIntyre, Raw, AEW Dynamite, and more. I'm Luke Owen, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Since 2019, wrestling fans have been treated to the most exciting time in the game since the death of WCW and, to a lesser extent, the rise of TNA in the early 2000s, where wrestlers jumped ship from one promotion to the other and, in some cases, jumped back to the one they'd previously jumped from in the first place. AEW has seen FTR, Malachi Black, Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, and plenty of others leap from WWE after being released to join All Elite Wrestling, while WWE has seen the likes of Cody Rhodes, Jade Cargill, CM Punk, and Lexis King, the former Brian Pillman Jr., head on over to WWE once their deals with AEW have expired. It has meant that the free agent market is insanely exciting and leads to incredible possibilities, like Will Ospreay leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling to join AEW, along with the rumored Mercedes Moné and Kazuchika Okada. We'll have more on Tama Tonga leaving New Japan in a bit, and now we have another name to join this ever-growing list. It was reported that Shawn Spears' AEW contract was coming to an end at the start of 2024, which was confirmed by the man himself, and his contract officially ended on January 1st. As soon as the news broke of his contract expiration, there was plenty of speculation online that he could head back to WWE, where he wrestled as Ty Dillinger with that Perfect 10 gimmick. And that is, more or less, what has happened, as last night's NXT saw Shawn Spears re-debut for the brand, attacking Ridge Holland, revealing himself as the man behind the Three Faces vignettes. Fightful Select's Corey Brennan is reporting that Spears will keep his AEW name and not revert back to Ty Dillinger, and that few in NXT were aware that he had re-signed with the company and was set to make his return, calling it a complete shock. So for those of you who preemptively called this video clickbait because we used the word shock, WWE also think it was a shock. Vindication. Fightful add that Spears' name was not listed on internal documents, and Shawn Michaels filled in for him during rehearsals. Though he was hidden to avoid the news being leaked, he was reportedly well received by those backstage. Fightful also write that Spears was let out of his AEW deal early to re-sign with WWE, and that he signed sometime before the Three Faces vignettes began to air. His wife, the former Peyton Royce in WWE and Cassie Lee in TNA, posted to Twitter "Home Sweet Home," while Cody Rhodes, a good friend of Spears, simply posted 10. Spears himself posted, "I'm back." Spears requested his release from WWE in 2019 specifically to join Cody Rhodes in All Elite Wrestling, with Rhodes speaking very highly about his ability to get over. His first big feud in AEW was against Cody Rhodes and caught some of the earliest AEW backlash when a gimmick chair did not break when Cody took an unprotected chair shot. He was part of MJF's Pinnacle faction, but his final match in the company was as far back as last September as part of the Over the Budget Battle Royal. He's actually been part of WWE as far back as 2006, even being part of WWE ECW under the name Gavin Spears. He left WWE in 2009 but returned 4 years later as part of the NXT brand, where he would spend most of his WWE career before being called up to the SmackDown roster in 2017. It remains to be seen if Spears will join Cody Rhodes on the main roster or spend most of his time in NXT. What do you think of Shawn Spears' return? Let me know in the comments down below. But as one person arrives, another leaves. And before we get into that, check out this clip from our most recent Patreon exclusive review of WWE Extreme Rules 2014, the second chapter in our breakup of the Shield saga. That 3.5-hour video podcast is now live for Patreon backers, and here's a clip. Speaking of stupid places, Adam Rose is on his exotic express. Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud.
I was hoping you'd do an impression.
My next stop is Raw. He's going to be on Monday Night Raw this week.
Yeah.
I've been playing this a lot
and it has
on
that
TV.
Adam coming soon graphic.
Yeah.
And then he says on VO, come along. I love bunnies. It's fun.
Right.
This is such a different NXT generation.
If I was on Figure 4 Daily around this time when I called in, he's going to get over so massive on the main roster.
Oh, yeah.
Fandangoing got over huge. This is going to get over massive. Oh, how wrong I was and how wrong I really, really, really could not have known I was going to be. It was revealed last week that writer Jen Pepperman had left WWE and signed with All Elite Wrestling, with many connecting the dots that she was a good friend and favorite writer of Mercedes Moné. And now PW Insider are reporting that another writer has left WWE, as Nick Bonanno has reportedly finished up with the promotion following last night's NXT tapings. No details are given as to why Bonanno left, having only been with the company for a couple of years, signing in April of 2022. But as one person arrives and another leaves, another could also arrive. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer reported that Tama Tonga has now officially finished up with New Japan Pro Wrestling following his final match with the promotion in Sapporo and is heading to WWE. Meltzer writes that Tonga was looking to sign with an American promotion to spend more time with his family, and that he nearly signed with WWE last year before deciding to stay with New Japan Pro Wrestling for another year. This report has since been corroborated by Fightful Select, who add, barring unforeseen circumstances, Tama Tonga will be signing with WWE. They write that WWE have had interest in bringing Tonga in for about a decade, and the two sides have been talking for many years. As soon as the news broke, there were lots of calls for Tonga to become the newest member of the Bloodline faction in WWE. Now, if you watched Ollie Davis's brilliant Bloodline family tree video, you will know that Tama Tonga is not technically part of the Bloodline family tree. However, during an interview with Jimmy Kimmel, The Rock referred to Tama Tonga's father, Haku, as Uncle Tonga. Upon his return to the WWF at the 2001 Royal Rumble, Haku teamed with Rikishi, the father of the Usos. In the 1990s, he teamed with Rikishi's brother Tama as the Islanders. Dave Meltzer writes in his report that Tama Tonga is considered family by the Johnson Maivia and Anoa'i Fatu family. But as one person arrives and another one leaves and another one could also arrive, another one could also leave. Or stay. 2024 is going to be a big year for WWE in terms of free agents, as it's been reported and confirmed by the people themselves that the likes of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch have their WWE contracts expiring this year and currently have not penned new deals. And one of the biggest names in this bunch is Drew McIntyre. Fightful Select had several reports around this time last year that Drew's deal with WWE would come to an end at this year's WrestleMania, and he was considering other options. It was reported that he was very unhappy with his creative and had a lot of frustrations with his position in WWE. But a lot has changed since then, and McIntyre is now one of the most featured wrestlers on Raw, recently turning heel and winning the Elimination Chamber to get a World Championship title match against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40. So it should come as no surprise that Sportskeeda and BWE are both reporting that Drew has re-signed his deal. Well, that's all that done then. No more. Actually, this is way harder than Ollie makes it look. No more to be seen there. All figured out. Oops, don't kick something over. I've knocked a light. But just one more thing. I need to get that light. Alex McCarthy, writing for the Daily Mail, reports that this is, in fact, not the case. McCarthy writes that McIntyre has been talking to WWE about re-signing for close to a year, but no deal has yet to be agreed. He confirms the report from Fightful Select that McIntyre's deal was set to expire before WrestleMania 40, but WWE added time onto it due to an injury which will see him stick around until after that show. As mentioned a moment ago, McIntyre is facing Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship and is the current favorite to win resign the belt, according to various outlets. But McCarthy writes that talks aren't close to being finalized on a new contract. However, they are ongoing, with both sides hopeful, which means we could be in a position where the current world champion, who's also penciled for Punk's first feud when he returns, is going to be working without a WWE contract. Fightful Select have corroborated McCarthy's report, writing that when they asked if the rumors of Drew re-signing were true, they were told they were not accurate. They also add that both sides do hope to continue working together. McCarthy also writes that money isn't the stumbling block when it comes to why McIntyre hasn't re-signed, noting that his issues with WWE have always been creative ones. Perhaps the reason both sides are hopeful for him to re-sign is, as McCarthy reports, Drew is much happier with his creative now. What do you think happens to Drew McIntyre? Do you think he stays, or do you think he goes and be's All Elite? Let me know in the comments down below. But as one person arrives and another one leaves, and another one could also arrive and another one could also leave or possibly stay, another thing leaves only to be replaced by a slightly different thing. On Valentine's Day a couple of weeks back, Tony Khan announced that there would be some changes coming to AEW Dynamite, including a new set. And now Sean Ross Sapp has revealed via Twitter what the new look for AEW Dynamite's logo will be. Andrew Zarian of the Map Man podcast confirmed that this is the new logo, but has seen it with a different color variant. The going theory is that the background color will change depending on the location they're in, with the logo SRS tweeting being the one that could be used for their upcoming shows in Canada. What do you think of the new Dynamite logo? Let me know in the comments down below. But as one person arrives and another leaves, and another could also arrive and another could also leave or possibly stay, and another thing leaves only to be replaced by a slightly different thing, Raw's going to Netflix. Only there's a slight flaw in the rather large paycheck WWE is getting for its Netflix deal. When WWE announced their new partnership with Netflix, which will see Raw head to the streaming platform in 2025 in North America, while other territories are also getting SmackDown and pay-per-views as well, the start date threw up a big question. The first episode of Raw on Netflix will be in January 2025, but WWE's TV deal with USA Network ends in October 2024, meaning Raw will not have a home for a couple of months. In the most recent Q4 earnings call, TKO CFO Andrew Schlemer addressed this situation, saying, "We also intend to renew our license or find an alternative provider to carry Raw in the US for the 90-day period from October 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, before it arrives to Netflix as described below." These domestic licenses together account for a very significant portion of our media segment revenues and profitability. No assurances can be provided as to the outcome of these negotiations. We are unable to renew existing agreements. Whoa, the poopy trim. Oh God, I'm so sorry. That was just such a boring corporate answer. Surely there's a TLDR version of this. We believe Raw will be aired in the fourth quarter. We have no further information. We feel pretty positive about it. Great, that is all I need. Thank you very much. That is all I needed. Actually, do you know what, WWE? We've got a pretty good YouTube platform here, so if you're looking for a home for Raw, just give me a call. I'm sure we can strike a deal. That Q4 call also had a lot of other interesting tidbits that we did not have time to cover today, like the settlement in that MLW case, what Vince McMahon could do with his TKO stock, and the fate of NXT Europe. Remember that? So head on over to WrestleTalk.com for all that information. And make sure to head on over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk to get the latest episode of WrestleTalk Extra, where Ollie and I review Extreme Rules 2014, and check out yesterday's WrestleTalk podcast review of Monday Night Raw by clicking the video on screen right now.